You're live.
All right, good morning, everyone. This is the meeting of the Mendocino County Subdivision Committee for January 9th, 2025. We will start with item 1, which is roll call. I'm Russ Ford, Planning and Building Services. Let's go to Environmental Health.
Melissa Hernandez, Program Manager for Land Use and Consumer Protection.
And Transportation.
Alex Aquera, Transportation.
Agenda item 2, Subdivision Committee Administration. I don't think we have any admin items scheduled today, do we?
Nope.
Agenda item 3 is boundary line adjustments, and we don't have any of those either. So we'll move on to agenda item 4A for minor subdivisions. So the only thing on the agenda today is case MS 2024-0002, which is a minor subdivision for Penelope Winnett. This is a proposed minor subdivision of an existing 0.59 acre parcel into 2 parcels. Parcel 1 would be 0.22 acres and parcel 2 would be 0.36 acres. This is located about half a mile southwest of Hopland on the south side of Ralph Betcher Drive, 0.2 of a mile southwest of its intersection with Macmillan Drive at 399 Ralph Betcher Drive in Hopland. So our staff planner is Marco Rodriguez, who is here today. And I see we have one guest in the room. Are you here for this minor subdivision? Number 1-415-847-0439.
Hello, this is Mackenzie. I am not here for this particular agenda item. I am here for a different agenda item.
Got it. Okay, so Mackenzie, your PAC will be following this meeting, so we don't broadcast the pre-apps. So we'll close this meeting and stop the stream after the subdivision, but stay on the line, and then we'll continue the meeting offline.
Sounds good. I was stopped in traffic in Willits, and I'm about 10 minutes away from the LoGAP office.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so it doesn't look like we have anybody here for this application, but just for the benefit of anybody that may watch this later, what we'll do today is we'll go through the recommended conditions for the subdivision. So planning, transportation, and environmental health. Okay, perfect. Good morning, Penelope, can you hear us?
Yes, good morning. I'm sorry I'm a little late here.
No worries. We got started pretty much on time, and there's not a lot else to talk about, so we kind of already.
I'll just listen.
So I sent you a copy of the recommended conditions yesterday. Do you have a copy of that there with you?
I do, yes.
Okay, so that's what we're going to go through this morning.
All right.
So then, just for your information, these are going to be recommended conditions that the committee is going to suggest to the Planning Commission. These are not final, and these are still going to be worked into the staff report by Marco, and then the project will then go to Planning Commission at a later date. The Planning Commission is where these get set in stone. So if you have any concerns about these or anything that we talk about today, there's still plenty of time to hash that out, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so let's get started here. So there's no waiver of survey requested. They're going to record a parcel map. No exceptions requested. So planning is recommending condition 1, which is a note shall be placed on the map that all external lighting shall be downcast and positioned in a manner, blah, blah, blah. Condition 2, which is because the property is within 300 feet of an agricultural preserve. This is just a notice that the property may be subject to nuisances associated with ag operations, dust, odor, noise, etc. So then we jump down to condition number 6, which is a note shall appear on the map that future development of building sites may be subject to grading requirements and drainage control measures. That's a standard condition. Then we are down to condition 8. And this is because the property is in an area where it's possible that naturally occurring asbestos is found in the soil. So prior to the development phase of the project, the subdivider shall contact the Mendocino County Air Quality Management District for a determination as to the need for an asbestos dust mitigation plan. So we are kind of putting this on air quality. So before any development, any groundwork starts, you'll need to reach out to them and they'll come out and look at the soil and see if you need a dust mitigation plan for any asbestos.
Okay.
So then we have condition 11, which is a standard one. That's the CDFW filing fee for anything that has an environmental determination. That fee goes up every January. The new fee is $3,018.75, which includes $50 to the Mendocino County Recorder. Then we'll go down to number 12, which is cultural resources. This is just a note on the map. In the event that any archaeological resources are encountered during development, work in the immediate vicinity shall be halted until all requirements of the ARC chapter and the Mendocino County Code have been satisfied. And then we'll go to, so number 18, which is just a standard condition, acknowledgement of best management practices, and those are all listed there on that condition 18. This is just something that you'll need to read, sign that you acknowledge it, and then return it to us.
Okay.
So then we have condition 19, because the entire parcel is within Zone A, FEMA flood zone. We're going to have a note on that map just noting it. There is another one, and that second part of condition 19 says that development of the floodplain subject to the restrictions in the floodplain regulations, which is standard. That condition 20, flood hazards report shall also include the 10-year flood line. The 10-year flood line itself is going to be outside the boundary of this parcel because everything in the neighborhood is within the flood zone. So I think maybe just adding a note somewhere on the map that the entire parcel is within the 10-year flood zone would be sufficient.
Okay.
And then condition 21 just states that no toxic, hazardous, or contaminated materials or waste shall be stored in the designated buffer area or identified floodplain, which is everywhere in the parcel.
Okay.
So then we have condition 22, which is just compliance with any CAL FIRE requirements. And Marco, I didn't see any of those in the file.
This is actually local fire.
Okay, so there is no CAL FIRE responsibility.
As far as I saw, no, it was
Okay.
just local.
So we'll scratch that one. We won't need condition 22, but we'll use condition 23, which is any requirements that Hopland Fire District needs will have to be compliant with. Okay, so then we'll jump over to Melissa for any EH conditions.
So since it's within the Hopland utility, it would be number 31. You would need to do a will serve letter for water and sewer.
Okay. We have that.
And that's it?
Yeah, for
That's
each,
Okay.
an easy one.
yeah,
Yep.
in sanitation and water district.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, because public utility.
Yeah.
Okay, so then back to planning for condition number 32, which is the standard one. The building setbacks, including front, rear, side, shall be shown on the map. And then condition 33, which is required that before the map is filed, you'll have to obtain a certificate from the tax collector stating all current taxes are payable, and you'd have to pay a security deposit for anything that is lien but not yet due.
Okay.
Move down to, so I think we'll go to Alex then for transportation conditions.
Yeah, I apologize if you're hearing they're mowing in front of the building right now. I don't know if you guys can hear that feedback or not, but
It seems okay.
okay. So, so 42A, I believe there's already this. We just need documentation of a 60-foot in width access easement to the parcels being created from the public road. And like I said, I believe that's already there. It would just be documentation that it exists. 42C, if a parcel map is filed, all easements record shall be shown on the parcel map. 42E, all natural drainage and water courses shall be considered as easements. That says only if there's existing water waterways on the property that need to be shown as easements.
Okay.
And then 43J, if approval of the tentative map is conditioned upon certain improvements being made by the subdivider shall notify Mendocino County DOT when the improvements have been completed. And then K, any proposed work within county right of way requires obtaining an encroachment permit from Mendocino County DOT. 46, the private road name Ralph Betcher Drive shall be shown on the parcel map to be recorded. I went out there to visit the site. I do see there's the private road name sign out there, but it's not the, it doesn't conform to the county standards for signs. It's like a, handmade wooden sign. The standard for the sign is the, reflective green signs. So one of those would need to be placed. And then site addresses for the proposed parcels would need to be placed at the parcels being created.
Okay. I'm probably going to be needing to talk to somebody at some point to kind of guide me through more of this, because this is all feels pretty overwhelming right now. Not that it can't be done, but and there will be someone there that can sort of help guide me through this, correct?
Yeah, I could assist you on that.
Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you.
The other it's a special condition. It's usually a normal condition. I just had to reword it from the typical checklist. So the private road approach from Macmillan. So Macmillan Drive is the county road, and then Ralph Betcher is the private road in which this parcel takes access from. So when we're looking at these subdivisions, we want to make sure that the access to the parcel from county road is up to county standard. And the approach from the county road to the private road is not quite to county standard. There's some flares that need to be, basically the turning radius of the road approach would need to be redone. I can share my screen if you'd like.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to keep looking at the doc and at the screen here, because
Yeah, let
I'm a
me.
technical person, but let me just see here if I can do that. Oh, here we are. Okay,
I
yeah.
think let
you're
me
good.
share my screen here if
Okay.
I can. Maybe. Let's see. Share screen. Okay. Share. Okay. Can
Yeah.
you?
I
see-
can.
Can you
Yep,
see that? Okay.
I can. Yep.
So basically, this is the private road approach onto Macmillan Drive. And when I was out there, you can't really tell. You can tell a little bit, but basically the radius of these of the turn radius of this existing approach is not to our county standard. You can kind of see where people are driving off of the approach to do that. So I'm not saying that the whole approach needs to be redone, but if a contractor were to come saw cut here and redo this corner there to make a better turning radius to our standard. Same thing on this side where you can kind of see it, for the most part comes out pretty straight to the county road, and you can see where people are driving over the sides of it. So that would be something where, the contractor could come in and, cut out a section here and then redo the corner to where it meets county standard. And
Why is that? I have a question. Why would that be on me when I'm just one of many residents in that neighborhood?
yeah, so, um,
Isn't that a county issue? I mean, why,
well, it's a private road, so like, for instance, the other people that subdivided along this road, normally we would have the requirement of widening the road. That's already been done by other people that have subdivided along this private road. So, I went out there and checked the width of this road already meets the county standard from other people having to improve this road. So other people who subdivided along this road, I believe all these were subdivided at one point and they each had their share in making improvements to this road.
because it is a private road, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
In effect, everybody sort of owns it in that neighborhood?
I believe there's a easement that, yeah, there's an easement that goes out here. So as these properties were developed, each subdivision that was out here had to make improvements to this road. That's why there's no, according to our county standards for private roads, this road already has been widened to where it needs to be.
Okay, so you're saying, well, I need to shave both sides or just one side, the left side?
Both sides
Both
here.
sides, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, both sides, all
Both
right.
side, yeah, both sides here.
Got it.
To make it we have a county standard. I can, but yeah, basically just to capture the area where people are cutting the corner and, it's not to our county standard.
Wow, okay, is there any way you could send a specifics on what you're asking for so that I can give that to my contractor and he'll know exactly what he needs to do to shave that and make it to your standards?
Yeah, I can email you our county standard and
Okay,
an encroachment permit would be required to do this work. And then I can always go meet your contractor and you out there to, meet out at the site to go
okay,
over it.
all right. Okay,
And then this is a sign that I was talking about. It's a wooden sign. I get that it says the name, but it's not the reflective, the typical white letters on green sign that you would typically see.
need reflective, so I would say need reflective street sign where do I get that?
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
The Mendocino Fire Safe Council will make address signs. I know they do numbered signs. You might reach out to them and see if they would also do letters, like a road name sign.
Okay, Mendocino Safe,
Fire Safe Council, yeah. And
Mendocino Fire Safe Council, so I'll reach out to them.
Yeah.
All right, and they can give further information, okay.
Like Russ was saying, these are recommended conditions as well. So these aren't set in stone until, everything is approved by the planning commission.
Okay, so then would you suggest I not do anything right now until we move further along in this process? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I would generally wait until the project is approved as a whole through the planning commission. I don't want to, have you, make improvements here and then something else go,
Yeah, I mean,
something not get approved or something like that. So, I think you
Yeah.
have,
yeah.
once the subdivision is approved, I think, what's their time limit on getting these done?
it's 2 years from the initial approval.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then, all right. All right. Thank you for that because wow, I've got massive dollar signs going on in my head right now on how I'm even going to attempt to do this. But if I do get the subdivision, then it would be worth it, I believe. So thank you for that. That was concerning.
Yeah, so you'd have a couple of years to, get everything in,
Okay.
including, this, if this gets approved as one of the conditions, then you'd have a couple of years to,
So that's including the whole list that we've been just speaking of so far, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for that. Wow. All right. My mind is eased.
Good,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not like you gotta do all this and then.
I know, I was
it's approved. Yeah.
thinking I got to do it first. I'm like, oh my God. Okay.
No, the planning commission gives you tentative approval, you know, they'll set the conditions of everything that you'll need to achieve. And then you have an initial period of 2 years to complete that. If that's not enough time, there are two 18-month extensions that are also available for a fee. I think it's about $400 for each of those. So if you needed it, you have up to 5 years to complete
Okay.
all this.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay.
So what I might recommend at this stage is just keep an open dialogue with your contractors and anybody who might do this work for you. Get some estimates on what some of this might cost and see what their timelines are. So by the time we go to planning commission, that way you'll have a better idea of what some of this might cost and, you know, what the impact of these conditions will be to your project.
Okay, sounds good. And may I ask for, since we're going through all of these, is it possible for me to get a list of what would be required? I know there's recommendations, but what I absolutely need to do versus what is just simply recommended? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so that's, everything is recommended until we get to that planning commission hearing. So they're the ones that are gonna formalize everything, basically set it in stone. But following this meeting, Marco can reach out to you with a list of all the conditions that are recommended. That's likely to be the final list that goes to planning commission. I mean, there's always a chance that something could get modified between now and then, but more often than not, this is what you're gonna be working with.
All right, so I'm not going to worry about any of this just yet. We're gonna, because we're still working through this process.
Right, yeah.
Correct?
So
Okay.
it's still very early.
It's still very early. Okay. Okay, carry on. Thank you for that.
Sure, and then I just wanted to know, I think we had just a very minor number discrepancy between Alex's copy of the conditions and ours, but everything in the draft that I sent you that was checked is correct. I think he had number 42 instead of 41, but all the boxes are otherwise right. So then the only other thing we had is there was a recommendation that came from the CDFW that they wanted to see some wildlife-friendly fencing, removal of non-native invasive species, and then the use of locally appropriate species for landscaping, if any of that ever comes up. So I added this condition 52 at the bottom to sort of capture that. We might need to refine that a little bit more before we get to planning commission, but it's really just going to be a recommendation and not a requirement for any of that stuff.
Okay, all right.
And I think that's all that we had. So if you had any other questions about any of these conditions, go ahead. Do you have any other comments or anything you want to discuss right now?
You know, I'm not at this moment. I think I'm just sort of sitting with overwhelm, but I'm going to take this one step at a time. And I think I'm just going to sort of wait until we move through the process and what comes back from continued meetings with Planning Commission on this, correct?
Okay, yeah, sounds good. We still have work to do on our end. Marco will have to prepare a staff report and get that agendized for a planning commission meeting.
Okay.
Did we talk about ARC? Is this going to ARC?
No, it's not. It looks like they're, Enwick sent a response stating that there was already a survey done
Okay,
in the past, so I have their email on that. So I would say no to ARC.
okay, great.
So I have one question. So what is our time frame roughly for the next step?
So the next steps, it sounds like, would just be the staff report and the environmental document. So Marco's going to have to prepare an initial study for the CEQA review and the staff report. Then he'll have to route those through us for editing and just finalization. Then we'll have to pick a planning commission meeting. So I would say somewhere in the next 3 months, roughly, we can expect a hearing.
Okay, so does that mean that at that point, within the next 3 months, I should have an idea whether we're gonna be able to do this?
That would be helpful. It's not required by any means, but once we get to that planning commission hearing, then it starts to get pretty real. So that's probably gonna be about your last opportunity to discuss any of these conditions or, make any modifications before this gets approved.
Okay, do you think it's likely this will get approved at this point?
Yeah, as long as you believe you can complete these conditions, I don't see any issues with it.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm gonna wait until we get the final report for conditions.
Okay,
And then I can, I'll have a moment to sit down and go over everything with my contractor and look at costs, of course, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And that's gonna be the biggest one on your end, it's something that we can't really estimate for you, so it really just comes down to affordability on the project.
Right, exactly. Okay, I don't think I have any questions right now, but if I do, there's certainly someone I can talk to as I move through these and look at these more carefully, correct?
Correct. Marco's gonna continue to be your point person on this. He's your
Okay.
project coordinator, so you can run all questions through him.
Is Marco on the screen?
I'm here.
Oh, hey, Marco. Okay, that's Marco. We've been talking. Yeah, nice to see the face behind
Sorry,
the
Marco didn't
voice.
introduce himself.
Yeah, that's
Didn't
okay.
get a
All
chance.
right. Sounds good.
All right, so I think we're done with that, unless you have anything else.
Nope, I will be working with Marco, and I'm sure I will have more questions as we move forward, Marco.
Yep, feel
This
free
is
to reach
this is all
out.
new for me. I've never done a subdivision before, so
I would, like Russ said, these conditions, they're being recommended, so, you might wanna, maybe start consulting with your contractor just to get an idea. That way, when it
Okay.
comes to planning commission, you're kind of already prepared. Because
okay.
it is what's gonna be recommended and may possibly be approved by the planning commission, so.
Right.
I would just highly, take that into consideration.
All right, but that is all the numbers listed, everything on here that we've gone through today, right?
Yep.
It
So
seems like we skipped some, but maybe we didn't. Maybe I didn't quite capture everything. But
There's a lot. So this document that I sent you is kind of all the possible conditions that we can put on subdivision. So obviously there's a lot that aren't going to apply to you. You're in a water and a sewer district, so you don't have to drill a well, you don't have to have septic,
Yeah.
You're on a private road that's already pretty well improved, like Alex was saying. So a lot of these things that would apply to other subdivisions, you're already taken care of. You're good on.
And
Like,
it was Jared with the utility department that you're already in contact with, so you
Yes.
kind of got that squared away. It's gonna be more, I think, the road improvement, that encroachment permit with DOT that you're gonna have to obtain, to improve that. And then whatever, the CDFW, I mean, that's kind of, if whatever landscaping you end up putting on the property or the new parcels, but, I would just, maybe go over this list of recommended conditions thoroughly and, whatever questions you have, just feel free to reach out.
Yeah, and I would say if you want to set up a meeting with Marco to sit down and discuss those individually, that would be great too.
Yeah, that might be something that I do. And Ron Valente is my contractor, so we both might come in
Okay.
and sit down. Would that be all right?
Perfectly fine, yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thanks, Penelope.
Okay, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it, and we'll all be in touch.
All right.
Take care.
All
a
right,
good
have a
day.
good day, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so we will move on to agenda item 5, which is matters from staff. Anything from EH, Melissa?
No.
No matters. Alex, any matters from staff?
No comments.
Okay, admin?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, so that'll take us to agenda item 6, which is adjournment. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we'll go ahead and adjourn the subdivision committee meeting. And then anybody here that's for the pre-app, go ahead and stay in the meeting and we'll continue the Zoom offline. Thank you.
Okay, you're off YouTube.
Thank you.